Now, before the show, Sherry and I, we were talking about a friend of hers that was part of a scam. Now, any of these scams or any of these things about privacy or identity theft, they all circumvent the same type of thing, where you have a plan, you have a prospective person that you're trying to take advantage of. But can you tell us a little bit what happened? This is like the real estate scam. Some of you may.
Oh, that was actually me.
Oh,
that wasn't a friend.
Oh, my
The job
goodness.
scam was the friend.
Oh, okay.
The real estate thing was me.
Okay, so what happened?
And I mean, it didn't go very far without me figuring it out. I was pretty suspicious from the get-go because it just seemed to be too good to be true.
So how did it start?
So how does it start? Well, it starts with someone takes a home. It's actually a real home, and they put it up for rent on like Zillow, and they have it looks just like a regular listing. They'll even steal pictures from when the house was for sale before and put all those pictures up and recreate the whole listing, but they put them, it's under their account, so they're the contact person. And then when and it's always like at some like too good to be true price, like so this was a really nice house and had everything I wanted, and it was just like, how could that be? Because the rental market in Tucson's kind of crazy right now. So this was about 6 months ago, and so I went to look at the house. And I thought, wow, this is really nice. But the guy had contacted me, and he gave me like way too much information. He was telling me that he's in the military and he was being deployed, and that's why he needed to rent out the house so quickly and for so little. And like all the utilities were going to be included, which that's weird, right? So there were some red flags from the get-go. But the scammer was actually, he found a real person online that looked respectable, right? And represented himself as that person. And so like I told him, hey, I went to look at the house. I'm very interested. And then I was sent a email with a link to a fake TripAdvisor page. And he was going to have me pay rent, like monthly rent, through like a TripAdvisor, as if it was an Airbnb or a TripAdvisor rental.
Okay, right.
And that's when I went, okay, this is. But the TripAdvisor page looked very real. The TripAdvisor logo, everything.
You see, now just to reiterate some things based on that. So he's already setting the foundation of the excuses. Oh, the reason why I can't accept it because I'm being deployed, and just paid into this system. Lots of companies do that, okay, but they usually use banks. They usually use management companies with an office and a real person,
Or a property manager.
Yeah, property manager, yeah.
So I did two things. There's a couple of things that people should always do, because there's a bunch of different variations of these rental scams, but you should always go to the county parcel search. You can go to every county has a parcel search site where you can put in the address and look at who owns the property to make sure that jives with what you're being told. Okay. And sometimes you're dealing with the property manager, but you can at least inquire as to where the owners live so that, it matches on there.
Right.
So searching the county, and then also just you always looking, like I looked up that person, the person's name. I looked him up on LinkedIn, and it was an actual person, but he was far too old to be being deployed in the military. His military service was long over. Okay. And I reached out to him, and he immediately responded back and said, I am being inundated with all of these messages from people. Like, I do not own a property in Tucson. He lives in Phoenix. He runs a big company up there.
And did you ever see this person face to face?
No.
Did they have access to the piece of real estate that you're interested in?
Well, that was the other red flag. It was like I was asking to be shown the property. Yeah. And they were just like, well, you can go take a look, and here's more pictures. And he gave me way more pictures than what was in the listing. Like, he sent me like 30 pictures via email. I think to try to convince me to put down the deposit, before
Right.
actually seeing the house.
Right, and he was being deployed. Probably the next email that he was probably going to, or the next message, was, "Oh, I'm being deployed. I've been moved up. I'm being deployed tomorrow. Do
Right.
you want it or not? Okay,
Yeah.
I need, bam." And that's one of the common things with these scams is they'll speedy you up through the process. If they sense any hesitation, they'll put something in there to make you say, okay, yes.
And you can always
need
look
to.
up the property, like TripAdvisor.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of looked at it and it looked a little funny to me. So I went on a separate browser window to TripAdvisor to try to find the property. And of course, it wasn't there.
Interesting. And you could always look at the address bar
Right.
to see exactly where you are. If they do that with banks, they do that with PayPal. It's not that hard to copy an entire page of a website, put it onto
No,
your
there's
own
software
domain.
that'll do it for you.
So you can't always go by how something looks. You actually have to choose and verify, and which goes on to the next point about always verify who people are.